Now, hello, everybody out there. Welcome to what will be hopefully the second of many, many awesome interviews that we have here at Kryix. Today, we are super duper honored to have with us Roll Star, Contenders Champion, FlashOps Champion, Saudi E-League Champion, Hadi. Thank you for sitting down with me today for a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to start by asking you some stuff about your reputation within the scene. Uh, I think you've been called the People's Champion a few times by people. So what does that sort of look like from your perspective?
Mm, I don't know, I appreciate it. I just try to have fun in the game, and if people have fun watching me, I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot to me.
Uh, what is what does the crowd sort of look like? I'm specifically thinking of grand finals. Like how much can you see and hear from on stage?
The hearing part is like a bit weird because like you have these nice like pilot headsets
Hmm.
that are like made to like drown out like all the noise, and so you don't hear a lot unless stuff actually like goes crazy. But like I can like see like everything. I see like a lot of the like posters or like stuff that people have in the crowd, and like half the crowd is like rooting for me and the other half of the crowd is like saying, oh, Hardy's a feeder, Hardy's a feeder. It's kind of funny. I
Uh,
like it.
I was sitting near the guy with the Hadi as a feeder sign. That was he embraced that. Is that
I
something that you
like it.
try and is that something that you try and play into or kind of let it fuel you, or do you try and tune that stuff out?
I mean, I have like fun with it. I don't. It's not like I get motivated by it to like, oh, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong and show him I'm not. That's like not what I'm thinking at all. But I just think it's fun, you know. Like I just think it's like a fun thing. But I'm just like focused on myself, you know. Focused on like
Mhm.
playing the game, executing with my team. Like I think it's like a really fun thing. But I don't I don't get too into it.
Yeah, what about on the positive feedback side if like the crowd is chanting your name? Is that something that you
I mean, it's really fun. I mean, it's nice. It's nice. Like, it's fun, of course. It's fun, of course. On like every shutter and every play, you can like hear the crowd, because that's like the moments. Like on moments, you can hear the crowd. You know, you can't like hear them in general, but when like stuff is like happening, you can hear it, or you can like even feel the vibrations on the stage. You know, like you can feel the movement. It's nice. It's fun. Like if it's playing on stage is like really fun. It's very different than like online.
That's so cool. How many times have you played on stage? Three or four?
I mean, I've played a couple times. I played like mm, I've played on Saudi, of course, a couple times, but in Overwatch League I played. I mean, the Hawaii one wasn't really a stage. It was kind of sad. Not. It was like just like the players was the players,
Mhm.
not really with a crowd. But I played once in Toronto for the Toronto event that wasn't playoffs.
Mhm.
So like when it was like Queen Meta in
Yeah.
22, then like in 22 in Anaheim for the playoffs, and then in 23 in Toronto. So that were the Overwatch League
Mm.
ones at least.
Out of those three Overwatch League LAN events, which one do you think had the best crowd?
And it was for sure the last Toronto one. Like the last one, Toronto was the most fun. I think probably also because like a lot of people came around because like it was like inevitable Overwatch League endings. So people were
Mhm.
like, oh, this is the last like big LAN that we know of, you know, and people were like, oh,
Mhm.
Overwatch League ending, celebrating it and stuff like that. It's for sure the best crowd.
Did that sense of sort of this is the last one, let's kind of lay it all on the table, was that felt by players, would you say? Both asking about yourself and also kind of the vibes you got from the other players.
I mean, 100% everyone was aware of it. Like everyone in the league was aware of it. Like ending. Some people were like trying to cope themselves into, no, no, maybe we get another season, blah blah blah. But like 95% of the league was aware of it, like being the last event, it like ending. Um, I think some of the players got like depressed because of it. So or like demotivated because of it. They were like, oh, it's fucking over anyways. What does it matter? But like a lot of the players, including like my team, were like the other way around and were like, oh, like screw it. It's gonna be over anyways. Let's just have some
Right.
fun. Let's just give it our all. Let's just try our best and have no regrets.
Savor every moment. Yeah.
Yes.
With that, what do you think was like the most rewarding moment of your entire career?
Mm, I mean, I think for sure, like the play-ins and the playoffs this year were the best, like most fun, most crazy, most unexpected stuff happening in
If you
my
had
career
to
for sure.
narrow it, if you had to narrow it down even further to a specific match or even like a specific play, if you can.
I mean, like when I think about match, I mean probably match. It's like the play-ins game versus Toronto, so we qualified.
Interesting.
And then if I think about play, it would just be like the classic from 22 where I was like playing was Florida Mayhem in like map 5 on like the Oasis Gardens map, and I went for like a flank shatter for like the last fight in the series. I think that's like when I think about play, that always just comes into my mind, that play.
Yeah. Excuse me. Pardon me. I want to ask you, so I don't want to get too much into some of the stuff surrounding Saudi E-League, but I actually wanted to ask you about the crowd there because I know it's on LAN in what it's like what like a small esports specific arena. What was the crowd like? What was the environment like? The fans, stuff like that.
I mean, it's actually pretty high production, like the whole arena and stuff like that. It's like really nice. And the crowd is like really good as well, especially like when the matches get closer, you have like one of the like favorite side, then you have like the underdogs. I still remember when I was like playing in, I think in 2020 on like my first E-leagues with 0-1, and like all of the players were like up and comers, like UB quads, like nobody like really knew them. But now obviously they're like World Cup winners and they're like made like a crazy upcoming. But we were with 0-1, like the underdog team versus Falcons, and it was like a map 5 series, and the crowd like really went crazy and all of that. But the production is really nice, Saudi is really nice, like the crowd like goes crazy, especially on like when it feels like it's like a personal game and it's a close match. They
Hmm.
always like get really crazy. It's nice.
How many people does it? I've seen pictures. It looks like maybe like 700, 800 people seater. Do you
I
have
mean,
any
I,
idea?
no, I think it's a bit less. I think it's less for sure. It's maybe like 1 or 200, maybe 300, like
Okay.
max. Like if it's like full. So
Okay.
it's not that much, but they care a lot. So it's
Yeah.
like it's still very nice.
Better to have a venue you can fill than one that, you know, looks half empty.
That's
Um,
true.
so I want to now ask you about because obviously we're sort of contenders focused. I want to start going back a little bit to some of your contenders days. So something I've always wondered is what did British Hurricane think of American Tornado ripping off your name?
Mm, I don't think we minded it at all. I think we took it as like a compliment. We were
Hmm.
like, oh, I guess. like because they made a super team, right? So they call themselves like the opposite of British Hurricane.
Hmm.
So we thought it's like a bit of like real recognize real type thing.
Hmm.
So we didn't mind it. We thought it was quite nice.
Yeah, I just speaking personally, that match between you guys and American Tornado was like is still one of my favorite matches ever.
It was
Um,
so close.
it was yeah. Do you do you know so and if this is something that you can't share, totally understand. Do you know why London Spitfire didn't sign Danid?
Mm, I mean I know, but it's like tough. I think I think with Dennett it's like it was for sure a bad decision to not sign Dennett, and they should have signed Dennett. But the issue with Dennett is he's like not a scrim player at all, you know? Like Dennett, he doesn't care that much about scrims, but he's really an official player, and all the officials he like really pops off, and he plays extremely well in officials, but
Hmm.
he like doesn't try his heart out in scrims. So when like coaches look over like scrims or tryouts, he doesn't like look as good as he is of a player. And like in the scene, he didn't have that much of a reputation as a good player because a lot of people have scrims in mind when they think about how good players are.
Hmm.
But but of course, scrim doesn't matter if you can't show up and if you're like a choker. If you just like end
Speaking
up
of American
choke.
Tornado,
Yeah, like a lot of the players there, they're like really good, but I don't think maybe they can't keep their nerves together sometimes. But because they're really good players, all of them on American Tornado, but they always underperform officials. So there has to be something with that. And then it is like the type of player who like overperforms in officials, but like when teams look at like the or like teams, coaches, managers, scouts, they look at like rank performance and scrim performance, and then it never really much cared for that. So he wasn't like a standout player in that way, but like in hindsight, it was a bad decision to not sign
hmm.
Dernot.
I am curious to know what that sort of promotion process was like. Was it more of they kind of were like, okay, we're gonna take five of British Hurricane and then fill in, the other DPS slot. We'll do trials for that, or was it sort of a more of an open competition for every role?
Mm, let me think. I think I don't fully remember.
That's okay. Yeah.
I don't fully remember, but I think every role was like, yeah, I think every role was trialed, but
Hmm.
there were like some things that were like open secrets in a way,
Right.
or like you know what I mean? So like
Hmm.
so like they like everyone knew in the scene that like I got offered early, but that wasn't as well. Like I had other tryouts as well at that time, and I had like
Interesting.
other teams interested as well, but it was just
It wasn't a
at the
given.
end. No, it was like like London Spitfire offered me, but they didn't. I could have still declined,
That's
and stuff like that.
really that's really really interesting. Um,
Yeah.
what like so you were with Cloud9 Spitfire organization for what, like 4 or 5 years total?
Yeah, such a long time, like somewhere in 2019 I started, I think, with
Do you think
Hurricane. Yeah.
do you think there are like benefits to sort of being in that system for as long as you were?
Mm, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's benefits, but that's just like how stuff ended up. I don't know if there's like a benefit with staying with the org, but it was just like, I mean, at the end, why I like went with Spitfire is just because I like wanted to play with like my friends that I
Right.
won everything with in Hurricane. It didn't like have much to do with the org, Like it's just because
Hmm.
I wanted to play with the players and.
Yeah.
then like stuff just ended up like that always. So like it wasn't like me looking for the org. Saying that, Cloud9 was always like really nice to me, and like living in LA with them, and they're like taking good care of you, and they're always like caring well about their players. Like it's very nice, but it wasn't like I was only like looking at Cloud9, you know?
Yeah. I was thinking in terms of like kind of, stability. Um,
Yeah.
so what um between 2021 and 2022, you got dropped and then brought back, right?
Yes.
What was that process like? I'm curious.
I don't know. That was actually it was kind of messed up because I they dropped me because obviously like I had like a season where a lot of like the public opinion was like that it was my fault, the season going badly and stuff like that. When like in reality, of course, I could have played better and I probably like didn't play up, but it was like my rookie season and I'm playing like a intense like a lot changing role on ping and I'm playing it and like ping and don't have a team house and everything is like bad
You're
already
also playing
starting
at
out.
very odd hours, right?
I'm playing at odd hours. I don't see any sun. Like I was living very unhealthy back in the day, but even that lifestyle made it my already unhealthy lifestyle even more unhealthy. And like it's nothing is good, you know. Nothing was good, and everything was like already starting out bad. And then I got booted after that season. So then I go LFT, right? And I make my tryouts and I play some tryouts and I would have actually had another opportunity as well, you know? Like it wasn't like Spitfire was the only opportunity. Like
Interesting.
last second I got like another team asking me,
Can I
or
ask what
like at
team
least
that was, or is that classified?
and it's not classified. Like there would have been like perhaps the opportunity with Vancouver that season. Like
Interesting.
if I maybe joined Vancouver,
Right,
like
because
there
they
could have
started
been.
with just false, right?
Yeah, they only had
Interesting.
falls. They only had falls. And
Hmm.
Shockwave back in the day really wanted me on that team, and he
Right.
hit me up pretty late, but the managers didn't think really highly of me.
Hmm.
So I would have had to like play some tryouts and they didn't like insta offer me. But then like Spitfire, I already played the Spitfire tryouts and they already offered me. So I was just like, alright, whatever. I'm just gonna like take that. You know, that
Interesting.
was kind of my thinking behind that. But it was like I can probably say because it was kind of messed up because I had a I had a 65K contract in my first Overwatch League season, and my plus one would have been 80K, right? So like you sign like a contract with
Hmm.
like a plus one most of the time, but the plus one it doesn't mean that much anymore. Like back in the earlier Overwatch League seasons, like your plus one or plus two even it would give you like job security, you know, because like you could have actually like not gotten kicked, or if you get kicked, you still get paid out. But they like changed it like after the first or second season because like a lot of Dallas Fuel players got like washed up and just took money for like 3 years and like just spent infinite money on everything, you know, like
Hmm.
genuinely insane amounts of money. But so yeah, my first season was I was on 65K contract, and then my plus one should have been like was like set in a contract to be 80K, right?
Hmm.
But then I got kicked after the season where I got
Oh.
65, and then my contract got like ended, right? So the plus one didn't get used. So then they re-signed me, and they re-signed me again for 65K instead of for the 80K that I would have gotten if
Wow.
they didn't kick me. So I had like. I mean, I always took it a bit like funny in a way, but I always had it like back in my mind That's kind of fucking a dickhead move to do, but
I
that's
mean,
life, you know.
for legal purposes, I'm not going to call Cloud9 dickheads, but I will say
Uh,
stuff like that does not happen in sports leagues that have player unions. Um,
Yeah, I mean, of
which
course,
is
but it
also, I
was just
think,
and Sinai was always really nice to me, so I'm not gonna like throw them too much under the bus. But it was just like funny. It was just like I had it like for a few months. I always like had it in the back of my mind, turning, and be like, it's a bit messed up that that happened, but it happened. But
yeah,
everything in life went good after. So and C9 always treated me well, so I don't want to
yeah.
throw them too much under the bus.
It's always very, I think it's always very helpful to when we get actual concrete numbers about how much players get paid because there's so little transparency. Just speaking from a fan perspective.
Yeah,
Um,
so many people like don't like to talk open numbers, but I never mind, Like if people ask me, I just tell them.
yeah.
Like I don't really mind to say those
It helps
numbers.
you put everything kind of in comparison.
Because then after the season I was signed. Like then I had a +1 again, right? And my +1 again was for 80K and it got extended this time, obviously. So then I was for like last season I was on 80K contract.
Interesting. Yeah. So I want to get into some kind of more gameplay stuff a little bit. So,
Mm.
uh, some of your coaches said, and I think you might have said this in an interview somewhere as well, that London in 2022 and 2023, that you guys struggled to incorporate new players. And we saw this with Khan and Lethal and Skyreapa, arguably Sauna. So my question is, do you think that this was more of a cause of your proclivity towards the rush comp or a symptom of your proclivity towards the single comp?
Uh, um, I don't know. I think it's a lot of culture stuff. I think it doesn't like it's not too much rush comp as a thing. It's just like our style of playing the game and our like view of playing the game. And it's just like a bit different and you need people to like buy into the style. Like we play really like macro heavy Overwatch and make like everything based off like team and timing.
Hmm.
But then I also think like a lot of stuff like people didn't like fully get treated like full fairly because obviously if you're in a team that's already going well and or like went well last season and then you incorporate new players, it's always super easy to just blame the new players. You know what I mean? Like it's always like it's really easy to just be like, if I just had the guy that I'm already playing with for a year, like these mistakes wouldn't happen, these stuff wouldn't happen, this wouldn't be a factor at all. You know what I mean? So people got like didn't get fully treated like fairly in that extent. And yeah, I think there was a lot of it because like we always like said Spitfire has like super nice culture and everyone's happy, but like every team has their issues. Like ours was probably one of the like less issue teams, but of
Hmm.
course you still have issues and conflicts and problems if you're like just playing a fucking video game 8 hours a day and just like trying to be the best. There's always gonna be issues, and conflicts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Lethal got way too much blame for stuff, in my opinion, because I think they were putting him on heroes he wasn't very good at, but that's my perspective from the outside. But
Yeah, no, I also think so, but I also think so that Lethal like didn't like we wanted to have Lethal, we wanted to have Dennis as like our ultra flex player to
mhm,
just like play everything and like be good at everything. But like in reality, I think Dennis like shines the best in like a hitscan player role. And if he would play hitscan, he would be like really good. But we tried to like make him our ultra flex player, but
yeah.
it doesn't work out for him. Like we put him like in a role as a player that just didn't like it didn't like pan out as well. And I think like for him like hitscan is his best suit. But we also had Sparker, and
Mhm.
Sparker's like definitely one of the like best hit scans, I feel like, and like he matched really well with our team, and we think he's incredibly skilled. So it would like, and he like also like popped up in like every official Sparker, so it like
Hmm.
would not like it wouldn't make sense to bench Sparker for lethal to like even take that risk in the hit scan matchup. So I just feel like
Yeah.
maybe on another team, or if he had like an opportunity to play main hit scan, he would like look way better because I think he's really fucking good. Like even in his like
He's so
recent
good.
like recent FlashOps games, were like watching him, and he like did a lot of nice shots on Sojourn and stuff.
Yeah. He's so good. His Cass is like crazy. He was like good at Bastion, which like there aren't too many players that actually like
That's true.
it's crazy. And they tried to put him in the Shax role from the previous year, it seemed like, and
Yeah.
yeah. So speaking of, well, not quite a segue, but I want to ask about FlashOps a little bit, and I have a very specific question. So in the EXO team, team chat, um, because I was watching the main broadcast to get that nice Ramatra skin, uh,
Yes.
but which as an aside, they should, and you probably have thought this too, they should figure out some way for people to get drops on player streams because that would be get allow people to watch them more. It would work.
Yeah, I don't know. Like some of the drops you get on player stream and some you don't. It's kind of messed up. To be honest, we got like because Astra and me were streaming all the games, right?
Hmm.
And when it was on Play Overwatch after, Play Overwatch didn't have any delay, but the player still had to put a 3 minute delay. So we went and asked like in the FlashOps Discord, and we're like, yo, the mainstream doesn't have a delay. Can we also put our delay off? And they're like, no, because it's in the rule book. And we were like, okay, whatever. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense, but it's like in like another e in like other esports like Valorant, I always see like when there's a big tournament, when there's like a tournament, I always see like the actual Valorant stream be like the second or third
It's
highest viewed,
crazy.
and there's like a lot of watch parties or player streams, and I feel like Valorant and like Riot, they're like really happy with like promoting the like watch parties and like player streams and like stuff like that, while Overwatch and like Blizzard, they kind of want it to themselves and they want
Hmm.
that the play Overwatch is like the best. But I feel like it would be healthier if they would also promote, like make it more easier accessible for like the players to stream and promote it, so like we all get the like nice skins
Hmm.
and we don't have to put delay, so our numbers get higher, so we get more motivated to play, and it will just feed into everything, and just make a circle that will just boost everything for everyone.
Yeah, they've taken small steps, but they could definitely do more. The specific
Yeah,
question that I had was on, I think it was map 3 or map 2 was Midtown, and SR
yeah.
Peak Check rolls out on Roadhog. What did you see that coming? Was that something that you'd seen in scrims? Like, how did you react and adapt to that?
No, we didn't expect like any of these like weird comms in the series. We didn't expect any of it. Like we didn't scrim them because like we didn't scrim them at all, I think, the whole flash ups because we just didn't scrim much on like the qualifiers because like all of us were like flying a lot. We were
Hmm.
like at different time zones. People weren't available, some people were on holiday, so we weren't like scrimming for like the qualifiers, but then we like scrimmed a decent amount. Like we had some triple block days as well when it was like the like dogout stage. But obviously we never scrimmed as a peak check because they're like were our preset first opponent, in
Hmm.
the bracket. So we never scrimmed them at all. But I don't think like they played these comps either. It was just like some like stuff to try to throw us off, like with Zaya, with Hawk, with all of the like weird comps that they played. I think they just like tried to like catch us off guard. We didn't see it coming at all. We were like looking if they have if they have Ram or Sigma, and then there's a Roadhog. So we like roll out on dive because we were like, oh, maybe they play Ram Lucio, maybe they play Ram Kiriko, maybe they play the Ram Brick comp that they played on KOF.
Hmm.
But then I play Roadhog. We roll out on dive. We wanted to like swap to Queen comp instantly, but the Sky Ripper here does sleep on the enemy Kiriko. So we were like, oh, we gotta kill this sleeping guy, and then we have to stay on the comp, and then we swap after to like the other stuff.
Yeah. Do you? This sort of gets into my kind of assorted questions. Just speaking of Roadhog, um, so what's your least favorite tank character to play?
I mean, to play, I mean, to exist, it's probably Roadhog. I don't like Roadhog existing. Like I don't think like he has much of a place in the game. Like I don't think he just like he doesn't fit. He just makes the game like ugly. Like like I don't think I don't think he belongs in the game, you know? Like I feel like he should be like a DPS hero or something. They should like make him smaller and make him like a DPS, like something like that. Like
They should put
I don't
Roadhog
think
on a
like
diet.
I think so. Like Rotok has to like, go on a cut, and then they can put him go on a cut, make him smaller, like rework him as a DPS. Like I don't think he works as a tank in the game, but like maybe like but Rotok can still be fun sometimes to play. Like when you put like your brain off and you're just like playing Hawk and just running around. So I don't think Hawk would be like my least favorite hero to play. My least favorite hero to play would probably be Ramatra. Like I just feel like he's
Hmm.
boring. I just don't like him.
I'm sure you loved watching NA FlashOps then, right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, Ramata's like fine as a hero. Like Ramata's like a macro hero, but I just feel like you're just like playing the front line a lot, juggling your CDs, very basic, not many like skill shots. Like the mouse one is not a skill shot, the punch is not a skill shot, and it's like very one-dimensional gaming, not too much crazy stuff. So that's just why I don't like playing Ramatra that much, but I honestly enjoy like tank as a role in general, and I mostly have fun on like every hero, so
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal.
So another assorted question: who would you say is or has been your biggest rival in your Overwatch career?
Mm, I don't think I had any rival ever. Like I usually just I try to make my rival myself, you know. I don't really have rivalries. I don't really like I don't really see anyone like that. I I respect a lot of other tank players. I think they are good. I think I'm good. And if I don't have a good day, they have a good day, they can win. I try to just keep it as even if possible, that if both people have a good day, that I come out on top. But everyone everyone can be like a lot of players are good. You know, I respect them. I don't really have rivalries with many people.
Yeah,
I don't think that way.
I mean rivalries can be ones of mutual respect, but that's definitely having yourself as your own rival is definitely a good way to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so this is a little this is definitely a silly question, but this is something that some folks and I were talking about the other day, and I wanted to get your input on this. So, if you could name your own esports team, what would you call it?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about that. I've never thought about that at all. I'm very bad with names. You can tell because my gamer tag is my real name, so I'm very bad.
That's
I don't know.
that's fair. And
Yeah.
my last question is, what was the most stressful match you ever played in? You think?
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, actually, I know, I think. I mean, there were a lot of games that felt stressful. Lately, I've like done a better job myself to make stressful stuff like feel less stressful. So like the games and like playoffs, they weren't like that stressful to be honest, because like even though it was like around the crowd and everything, I was like in a really good headspace myself. So I feel like you as a player need to do like a good job being in a good headspace. So like stressful stuff isn't actually that stressful. But saying that, I think the most stressful game I've ever played was probably in Contenders,
Mm,
our game versus Obey Alliance, like
mm,
before before the before like the Atlantic Showdown or whatever, or like
oh,
I
the
don't know how they
finals of
call that.
Gauntlet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, before Gauntlet. It happened like the Contenders tournament that happened before the
Oh,
Gauntlet
was that
tournament happened.
the one that
That
you
was the one we
lost?
lost. Yeah, it was the one we
Oh,
lost.
that was the one
And
where
and
Lethal played Bastion.
exactly. And I talk about this game a lot because that was like a really interesting game because they like started playing like this. They play like Hog and Bash and all of this stuff on like map one and like full troll comms. And the whole reason for that was because they didn't think like they could win. Like they just played a comp that like because we were dominating so hard everything. Like we're just winning every scrim. We have like 90% win rate,
Mhm,
90% map win rate in like every scrim, and we're just not losing. But then the reason why we lost that game is because I like remembered like was yesterday because it was like almost like a 2-year anniversary coming up of us not losing, and I remember like people saying, oh, it would be a shame if we lose now, and it would be a shame if this like happens now, and if our streak gets broken now. And I remember people were so stressed and so in their own heads that
that's so
uh,
interesting.
that that we couldn't play. We just couldn't play. We were so mental boomed from just like from the pressure, from all of the pressure. The whole team was so mentally boomed and mentally gone, and nobody could like play. Nobody could like hold mouse properly and just like do basic playing because everyone was so stressed. It's just like everyone was just playing to not lose. And what I always say, you can't win if you play to not lose. You always have to play to win. But if you play to not lose, you're gonna end up losing. And everyone was so scared in that game because everyone wanted to not lose. Like nobody wanted to win, but everyone wanted to not lose. So we just ended up losing because everyone was so mentally boomed.
That's so interesting because I very much remember that match, and I was actually also thinking about it the other day because I was just looking back at old contenders VODs for just for fun. Um, and I remember I thought, and I think a lot of other fans thought that you lost that match because everybody on British Hurricane basically already had one foot out the door into Overwatch League. But it's actually the opposite, I guess.
Yeah, it was just because like people really wanted to win that one. People really wanted to win, and it was too much pressure, too much stakes for like us in the past to handle. And like it was also people didn't want to lose before Overwatch League as well. Like people didn't want to lose before Overwatch League. People didn't want to ruin the streaks. People didn't want to like that, and it was so much pressure that like people just couldn't perform properly. Like really simple as that. It was like we like lost before we loaded in. Like there was just no way. Maybe we could have won that game if they would have just played meta, played something that like eased our minds, so we would have like gotten into it easily, you know. But like we were so nervous before that
Right.
game, even though like if you're on a betting side, there were probably like the odds crazy like in favor of us because we just couldn't lose. But like we were so nervous before that game. Everyone was like so nervous. The vibes were so off, and we just like, could not perform.
Yeah, that game was, and then um, yeah, I'm sure when they rolled out on Ryan Winston, you were probably like, oh boy.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, people just like then you have to adapt in the moment, and then like you're already stressed, and then you get asked a question, and then if you die to like weird heroes, and then you die to like a bash, and then you die to like Shao and Winston or whatever it was, and then you're just like, oh my God, and then you just like all the like voices in your head like start to like turn up even more, and like stuff just doesn't go well. But then after that game, like we came back, we had like a little bit of a break and we were like winning everything again. So it was definitely like not a skill issue, you know? It was just like really just nerves and mental not being there.
Yeah, that
So,
is, that you've answered a question that I've had for like 3 years. Thank you, Hadi.
no
Um,
problem.
yeah, so that's those are the ends of the questions that I had written down here. If there's any kind of, thoughts that you have about either the future of the Overwatch scene or stuff about FlashOps that you want to talk about, the floor is yours. But um, otherwise, that's all I have.
Yeah, let me think. I think people were like talking about like a potential like EU versus NA Flash Ops show match, something like that. I don't like I think like the fans probably really like that. I think like me myself like uh I'm like I don't mind playing it or not playing it. If people like really want to, we can play it. It might be like a bit weird because you will always have to swap server. One team has ping, one team doesn't have ping. It's always like awkward when it's not on LAN. Like I wish you could have that on LAN. So maybe that will be happening if people like want it from like both teams. And
I know the
then
fans want
I,
it.
yeah, the fans always wanted. The fans love the U.S. and a rivalry. Like I was like down for it like a couple of years ago, but nowadays I'm just like I don't care about it too much anymore because I've been like everywhere, you know, and I
Yeah.
know like all the players, so I don't care too much about it more personally. I know the fans do though, so we can maybe get it going. Then I hope the esports like works out and we get some nice LAN events and some good stuff happen for the future. And yeah, I hope we can still do this stuff as a job. Then only other thing to say is like thank you for the support to everyone. Check out my Twitch, guys. I'm gonna be streaming. Book some coaching sessions from me if you guys want. Give me your money so I can pay my rent.
Give Hadi all of your money, or
Yeah, all the money.
all of
Just
it.
some of the
Empty your
money.
bank account.
Just empty your bank account fully so I can pay rent and buy food. And besides that, just thank you for the support and happy holidays and good new year and all that stuff. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Hadi. You can follow Hadi at, what is it? Hadi underscore OW. Yeah.
Yeah, Hardy
Um,
underscore W on everything. It's on
yeah.
Twitter, Twitch, and Discord. All of that.
Yep. Make sure to follow Kryix at CryixGG. And my Twitter will be in the description of this video. And everybody have a great new year. Have a great holiday. Thank you so much.
See you. Bye bye.